All right, guys, welcome back. This is Hayden with Chaos Mechanics, as you can tell. So today what we have is a 2020 model to 170, and our issue is that the pull rope broke. So I went and bought some more rope. Pull it out and show you right here, and I'm going to show you guys how to replace the rope on the pulley. So first we're going to start off by taking this engine cover off, and then we'll get to this recoil right here, this entire assembly. And it's very simple. All you should need is a Phillips head to take these out, and then you'll have a few bolts down here that are size 8, and then I think the actual pulley bolt should be like a size 10. But let's get into it. So we're going to grab our standard screwdriver first, Phillips head, just pull these out.
Show you guys, so you can see they just barely set in there. Pull these out real fast and we'll take this cover off and I'll show you where these bolts are.
Alright, so now we got this cover off. See, we'll just set it to the side right here. What I like to do is I'll take my screws and I'll leave them in here. That way you don't have to worry about keeping up with them. So here is your recoil case, your whatever you want to call it. You can look it up, they have a bunch of different names. But you see right here, it's just free spinning. It shouldn't be doing that. It should be set onto the top of the motor, which I'll show you that. So you're gonna have about 4 of these bolts. They should be a size 8. There's one here, one underneath this fuel line right here. Let me see if I can show you right there. And then we'll have one right here. And after you take this cover off, there's a clip right here. You should just be able to clip this and pull it off. I already had this one disconnected. So now we're gonna take this, we'll put it back, and we'll grab our size 8, which will be right here. Do a check, make sure it fits. I'm gonna slap a little extension on this. And I'm sorry, y'all, I know I'm doing this on an iPhone, so eventually I will get us a tripod and I'll be able to set up while we do this. All right, so make sure you got it on lefty loosey. Just crank these out real quick.
I like to just bust all mine loose and then just take this off the ratchet and then do it by hand. And we'll get to this last one right here. Let's see if I can show you guys. So you can get a better view. It's right there underneath that line. There we go. So now I'll bust that off. And I'll just take this and do it by hand. Well, that one doesn't really want to go. We'll go ahead and grab these other ones now. So I'll take this, I'll throw it right here on my little rubber thing. So for the most part, this should be a quick, easy fix. My little heat shield right here is kind of getting in my way. Alright, I'm going to set you right here. That way you can kind of see as I go. See if you guys can see that. Yeah, I really could have disconnected this line, but I just feel like it's unnecessary. And it just takes like a second extra longer to grab this out. So there we go. There's that one. Now we'll grab this one. Alright. Let's take this one off. There we go. There you can see. Now they're all
They're off. This case should just come straight off like that. So we'll grab it, wiggle. See, she's caught on something over here. Looks like this fuel line. There we go. We'll grab it, pull it right off like that. We can pull this out, just like that. So you see that spring? This needs to set right over here to the side, because this actually has to set inside of that wall right there. See that little indentation? That's where it's got to go. So we want to make sure when we put that back in there, it goes on the right way. But for now, we're going to grab our rope just like this. We're just going to pull it out. grab this end right here, and you can cut it, untie it, whatever you want to do. I'm just gonna cut it. Just feel like it makes it easier because we're gonna replace the rope anyway. So
grab it like this, so you can see that on the snips, and we just cut it, just like that. Yeah. She's cut. Put it on there like that.
now what we'll do is I'm going to try to get this piece right here back down in there the correct way. So you really don't want to take this off unless you absolutely have to. And you should feel some kind of tension like that. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to crank it all the way back until you start to feel it stop. It's a little difficult to do with one hand. I'm gonna set you down for 1 second. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna crank this all the way back. There you go. You see right there? It should stop. Once it stops, you're just gonna kind of backtrack it a little bit until you see that hole right there where the string goes through. You're gonna backtrack it and line it up with that hole. Right there is where we want it. Once you get it in there, you're gonna grab a screwdriver and you're gonna set it in there. So we'll grab, you just set it in here just like this to hold the tension. And then we're gonna feed our new string through here into that and we'll tie it off. And then once we are done, we'll put our thing back on here and you'll let it go and it'll basically pull all the rope in. So all I did was burn the tip of this to make it a little bit smaller. Now we should be able to get her in through there. You see her trying to come through right there.
We can't wiggle it. I got some of it, so I'm gonna grab my needle nose right here and I'm gonna pinch it and pull it out. Ooh, try to go back in. Alright, let's see if we can grab these with the pliers.
There we go. We'll pull it in and we'll tie a knot right here. See if I can get you set up good enough. Alright. Tie a simple knot, ain't gotta be anything crazy, nothing fancy. Just a good knot on it, like that. Pull it back through. You see? It should sit right in there. I'm just gonna stuff this down in there. Just like that. You see? Now she's good. So now at this point, pull your slack here to keep your tension, and we're gonna remove this screwdriver. Just like that. You see, once you do that, you just slowly release and let it pull that rope in. Oh, my pliers are on the rope. We'll do it just like that. You should see it should stop on its own, where it starts to get a little tension right there. That's where you want it. So now, without cutting the rope or anything, because you don't know how far your adjustment's gonna be, we're gonna place this back on top.
So we'll put it right back how we had it. Make sure that you're not over your hose right here. You don't want to pinch it or anything like that. So we still got a little uneven right here. I want to pinch this cord. See if it's not this. That's in the way. There it goes. Snap right back on there.
Now we will replace our 8mm back into where we got the mount. Should just be your 4 little bolts right here. I just like to hand feed them and get them going first.
I'll come back and tighten them up. There's one. We've got 2. 3 should be right here. And we got our last one underneath. This civil line right here. Get that one thread in there. And we can just take our 8mm socket. This one I have an extension on. And we will just hand tighten it. We'll come back with the ratchet and stuff them back on there. Alright, there's one. The second one. She's just basking in the sun. Alright. Alright, here we go. Now I'll drop, grab my ratchet, slap this back on there, make sure it's set on righty-tighty, and we will.
You don't want to put too much. You don't want to torque it a whole lot, just enough that it's pretty firm. You don't want to strip it out.
Or in some cases, if they have older hardware, you don't want to snap the bolt off. So get that on there, just tighten it down, get a little hand tight. See, in this case, I just kind of tighten off.
Alright. Now, what we'll do is we're going to slap our gas tank back on there. So I'll show you how to do that. Essentially, you just want to go from the bottom right here, and you can see there's these little plastic tabs right there. These fittings just go right in there. You just line it back up. Hold on. See if I can find a good way to set this where y'all are able to see it. So there we go. I just had to loosen it up on the bottom a little bit to get me enough. And so what you're gonna do is you get these lined up back in here inside these rivets. You just push down, and this top piece, this clip should snap right over the top of it. So now your gas tank's back on there. All right. Now I'm gonna go underneath here and tighten that clamp back onto the hose. It should be right here. Now I'm gonna squeeze it and slide it back up on there.
There we go.
So now she should be on there pretty good. Now we will reinstall the engine cover back on top. That'll be just your 3 Phillips heads. In this case, we left all of the screws inside of it. And so you see your rope is right here. You're gonna have to pull that through, and you're gonna run it up through here. And there's normally a little spring that sits right there that you kind of run it through. I'll have to find the one that was on here because I believe I took it off, so I will do that. But for now, I got this rope. I'm just gonna pass it underneath this cover into there, just like this. All right, there we go. See, I just pulled my slack. Can't be losing my screw now. Grass is getting a little tall because my mower's broke. All right, so you just set this cover back on. It should fit nice and snug, and we will just slap our screws back in. You can see we got one right here.
And grab our Phillips. And we'll put these right here back on. It may not be lined up all the way. There it goes. Alright. Once again, just hand tight. Ain't got to be nothing crazy. You don't want to strip it out. It's just plastic, so it's pretty easy to strip if you give it too much. Just want a good, like, little, tight little turn.
Alright. So now that's on there, you should be able to give this a pull right here. You see how it's pulling back? Should be good enough right there. All right, guys, so now that we have it completely reinstalled and finished, only thing we have left to do is to put the handle back on. Now you could, normally there's like a little piece that goes on here that you could run it through and it sits there for easier access, but I mean, I'm not too worried about it. I can just pull it from here. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do this. So all you want to do is just get enough pull right there. To where it kind of pulls it back in. And so you get, say, we'll cut it about like right here. That's where I'm gonna cut it to give me enough slack.
So I'll grab some cutters. In this case, my needle nose has them, so I'm just gonna use these. And then you grab your slack wherever you was gonna have it at. Mine's gonna be about right here, because I know that's enough for me to use.
So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. See if I can get this where you're able to see it. So I'm gonna take it about right there and I'll cut it. I could have just grabbed my pocket knife. I guess that would have been easier. There we go. All right. There it is. My bad, y'all. There we go. That's it. I got my pocket knife. I mean my pocket lighter. Goodness, what am I talking about? I'm just gonna burn this tip right here. Grab my handle, and you'll see where this little piece right here is rubber. So we'll just take a flathead and we'll pop this open. See if you can see that way. All right. So I'll grab flathead. I'm gonna stick it right in here on this edge. I'm just gonna pop it open, just like that. So in this case, it has a hole right here on this back side. It's gonna go through there, and this is where the knot is actually going to sit. So we're gonna run it through this hole on here, through the bottom, into this, and through this hole into here, and it will set just like this. Okay. So just like I told you, we'll slide it through this bottom piece. There she is. So now I'm gonna take my needle nose, I'm just gonna pinch and pull.
There we go. I'm gonna take a little bit of that slack just so it kind of keeps it tight right here. And now all we got left to do is to run it through this hole. So I'm gonna burn this tip again. Just put it through here. Not sure if you guys are really catching any of that. Once again, we'll take the needle nose.
Pull it through. All we need is a little bit of tension. So I'm gonna tie my knot right here. And then we'll take our needle nose or your cutters, whatever you have, and we'll cut this excess slack. Goodness, I can't talk, can I? And then a lot of people will. I don't normally do it, but I mean, it doesn't hurt anything if you do. Some people will just take their lighter and burn this knot so it keeps it from coming undone. Ain't got to be anything crazy, just a quick little singe on it. Then we'll slap that back in there, and boom. Now she's done. You give her a good pull, it engages. There you go.